Always get more for your trade. Exit 11 off I-540 in Fort Smith. You can shop anytime at harryrobinson.com.
Radio station.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith. From the Bush and Bushlight Studios. This is ESPN 95.3.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas! I love everything here! Give me that thing here! Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line!
.com.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Phil, you're one of the best baseball announcers in the country, and Ty, you're one of the best up-and-coming young talents in the broadcasting industry. You really do your homework.
See ya, D-Mac. Hold on, Matt Ryan. D-Mac not looking back. Touchdown. How about that Heisman, Mark Jones? How do you like it? Wide open again.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
All right, let's get it going. I'm excited about the show today. It's Thursday. It's the start of the weekend, right? Phil Elson here, Ty Richardson, ESPN Arkansas, 877-377-6963, our Cherokee Casino hotline. It is the start of the weekend, isn't it, Ty? That's the Thursday is the official start. That's
100%,
why we,
yeah.
That's why we have some of our certain live reads that we will do. Too bad today's not pizza and beer day.
It's a shame. I did not partake yesterday. I'm sad to say I went. I would say I went healthy. Did not go healthy. Had some good barbecue from Jerry Neal's last night, but I did not partake in the pizza and beer.
You need to be a follower of your hashtag holidays, my friend. If you're going to attach one to every pre-show tweet, then you're going to have to live the life that you're advertising. So I guess that means I would expect that you'd have a tuxedo on in the studio today.
Yeah.
If today's really tuxedo day, so why are you just wearing an ESPN Arkansas T-shirt instead of a Penguin outfit?
That's a great question. Did you see what the holiday initially was on the rundown? But I changed it because I feared for your what's the word? For your emotional sadness.
My emotional well-being?
Yeah, your emotional well-being. Did you see what
sports doesn't have anything to do with that at this very moment, I'll tell you that. So, what was the other hashtag holiday you put up there?
It was Love Your Hair Day, but I thought that was too mean. I thought that was too mean-spirited to do that. So I took it off, and I didn't put it on the rundown either because I felt like I would have gotten a lot of flack if I had put that up there.
Oh, come on. You could have gone with that. It's a topic of conversation throughout the show. It's okay. Love your hair or lack thereof. You could add a few words to that hashtag holiday.
Well, you and I always goes back and forth how your facial hair is bar none, doesn't get beat by anything. Like you have a great beard. And it would almost be one of those things where I'm envious of your beard and you're envious of my luscious blonde locks. And if we could do a trade while still keeping me the top, you the bottom, but then they would look a little weird because you have dark hair and I have blonde hair. And I don't know if people would be a fan of a dude with blonde, luscious hair and a dark beard, but who knows? Maybe you should ask the lovely lady if she would like that look. Blonde hair up top and a dark beard on the bottom.
You know, I'm thinking about taking this whole facial hair thing off.
No.
I'm thinking about doing away with it,
No.
making a little bit of a change,
Don't
going
do that.
bare-faced, fresh-faced. You know, take about 5 or 6 years off my age. So, yeah, I'm thinking about doing that. We'll see if we'll get into that. I'm a little tired though. You know, I think a lot of sports fans are in the habit of staying up late these days. The NLDS kept you up late. You know, it's too bad that the games weren't reversed. That you didn't have the Cardinals putting up that 10 spot in the first inning in the night game. You could have just gone to bed because that game was over. That game was over before. Heck, it was over halfway through that first inning, and then the night game kind of mirrored what you had seen from the Cardinals-Braves series, at least over the first 4 games, which was a lot of late-inning drama and big-time moments and bullpens that couldn't hold leads. So I just wish they would have flip-flopped the games. I think I'd have gotten a lot more sleep. I think a lot of other listeners would have, too.
I feel sorry for the Braves and Dodger fans this morning, and I think the Braves fans knew it was coming, whether they wanted to admit it or not. Once Game 4 happened, there was this idea out there that there was no way that they were going to win Game 5, regardless if it was in Atlanta or if it was in St. Louis, that game being played in Atlanta. There weren't a lot of confident Braves fans that I talked to yesterday heading into that game. And for the Dodgers, Phil, and we'll get into this more later, but this was supposed to be another World Series team that finally capped it off. And for them to fall short in the division series against the Nats of all teams, who have never been to a championship series ever in their franchise history.
I think they were with one with the Expos.
With the Expos.
I think that was like 1981.
Okay.
That's a long time back.
For some reason, I thought you said the other day that they did it all. So
they've never been to the World Series
as
Montreal or Washington.
That's what
I think they made one LCS. 1981 lost to the Dodgers, who eventually won the World Championship.
And I think the most peculiar thing about the way they lost, and I say peculiar, but this guy is just slightly above average / below average in the postseason. It's their dude, Clayton Kershaw.
Oh, he's worse than below average in the postseason. He's been awful more often than he's even been decent.
I mean, you can attest to this more than I can. The fact that he is just incredible regular season. I heard Buster Olney on Golic and Wingo calling him the best regular season pitcher ever. And for him to lay another egg in the postseason, I mean, you think about what he's going through this morning, waking up, hopefully not watching the highlights so he doesn't torment himself. But for an athlete to continue to struggle, not just struggle, falter, choke, whatever word you want to put in there in the postseason, I mean, that's got to be agonizing, not just for fans, but for Clayton himself, man.
Pretty crazy. You want to hear a crazy number here? So Kershaw is a great regular season pitcher. I mean, 3 Cy Young awards. Even in a year where he was not as good as usual, people were talking about, he had a bad season. He was 16-5 with a 3.03. That's not bad. He just wasn't, the Clayton Kershaw that you'd seen in previous years. Career ERA, regular season, Kershaw, 2.44.
That's disgusting.
It's one of the best in baseball history. Postseason career ERA is 2 runs higher than that at 4.43. And, I think part of the reason, and again, something to get into later, he's only made 3 relief appearances in the regular season in his career, and he's made 7 postseason appearances, and really has never been very good pitching out of the bullpen. And you wonder what he was doing in that situation, coming back in for a second inning after getting a strikeout to get out of the jam. You got a great reliever in Kenta Maeda ready to go. Boy, Dave Roberts, I know he answered a lot of questions post-game yesterday about utilizing the bullpen the way he did, but those are questions that will last into the off season, and it mirrors a lot of the things that Roberts struggled with in the World Series the last couple of years. So I mean, hey, at least the Dodgers won't lose the World Series for a 3rd consecutive year. You got to get there first.
Yeah, isn't one of those things that he didn't trust Kenley Jansen to bring him in to close it out? Because I know he went with Kershaw and then elected with my boy Joe Kelly, right? Isn't that what happened?
Kelly to pitch the 9th inning. Ugh. Looked good, but you kept your best reliever on the bench in a moment with a tie game. You didn't have to bring Kelly back out for the 10th inning. That again was another questionable decision. Anyway, it was a shocking outcome, really, in both games, just the way it all played out. I don't ever remember seeing the team score 10 runs in the first inning, and it's a Major League postseason record for any inning, not just the first inning, but any postseason inning. Just kind of crazy. To see what went down. And now you get another Game 5 later tonight, which, I mean, you even talk about shocking the world. What if Tampa Bay achieves what probably could be looked at as one of the great all-time upsets in postseason history when you get an Astros team that won 107 games? That's 11 more wins than Tampa Bay collected. Tampa Bay had to scratch and claw to even get the wild card berth. Had to come from behind against Oakland, and could pull off a major upset. I mean, one of the greatest upsets of all time. So I mean, I know, I don't have a dog in the fight. I've been talking about the idea of just rooting for long series, and you got the 2 series that went to 5 in the National League, 1 that goes to 5 in the American League. I got extra innings last night, so I got a little more of what I want to see. Root for upsets if you don't really have a team to root for. Root for the Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay, quite honestly, Ty, could be, if they so choose, they could have been like the Vanderbilt of Major League Baseball. I mean, they play in what is universally agreed that is the worst ballpark in the majors. They have the smallest fan base, but they have a history of winning and a history of thinking outside the box, finding value in places that other teams didn't, making shrewd trades, great drafts, and they don't use the poverty idea just not having the payroll that a lot of other teams have as an excuse for why they can't be a contender year in, year out. And I feel like the Astros, for some reason, I think people viewed the Astros for a long time as like a mid-market team. Like Houston's like the 5th largest city in the country. It was just a matter of, and they tore their franchise down. They were Vanderbilt for a few years. They were. I think they lost 100 games 3 years in a row, burning the farm system down to tinders and then building it up and becoming what right now is the best organization in Major League Baseball. But it won't mean anything if they don't win this game today against the Tampa Bay Rays and set up what should be, either way it ought to be a great LCS against the Yankees, who look like they're just knocking it off on all cylinders. Should be a lot of fun later today, and we'll preview that as well as we get throughout the show. Halftime brought to you by Breeden RV in Van Buren, having their year-end clearance sale right now. Great deals on new RVs, travel trailers starting at $99.95, fifth wheels under $30,000, and of course, all new customers get maintenance for life for free at Breeden RV in Van Buren. We'll come back on halftime, so stick around on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson. This is the Morning Rush.
It's just amazing that when Eric Musselman is in front of the media or in front of the fans, and now we got to see what he's like, see him in that coach's role, to see how vocal he was, to see how detail-oriented he seemed to be with just the small things, like, for instance, calling a timeout because his team wasn't lined up correctly on the free throw line. That's the type of thing that you like to see if you're a Razorback basketball fan.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Miss Anna's on Towson is quickly becoming one of Fort Smith's favorite haunts. We're now serving breakfast from 6 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Blue Plate specials served Monday through Friday. And don't forget about 99-cent Pie Tuesday. So whether you're craving some of our great kickin' chicken or one of our world-famous desserts, Miss Anna's is the place to be. 5001 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith, 649-6300. That's 649-6300.
Supercuts of Arkansas is raising breast cancer awareness and donating to Bright Pink. Bright Pink is the only nonprofit organization that focuses on prevention and early detection of breast and ovarian cancer. Join the fight, breast cancer awareness. Donating to Bright Pink, the only nonprofit organization. Supercuts help them reach their goal of $10,000. Supercuts is conveniently located and serving its community 7 days a week. Supercuts, they're super into the movement. Supercuts, fresh, clean, sharp.
At Chambers Bank, our Arkansas roots grow deep, and you can trust us as your partner for every banking need. From a simple checking account to your first home loan, whatever you need, big or small, we are here for you. With 18 convenient branches throughout the state and a full suite of online banking options, we will always be available when you need us. Family owned in Arkansas since 1930, Chambers is your full-service community bank. Bank with trust at Chambers Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, NMLS 631520.
It's football season, and the right play is at Hertz Car Sales, 2810 Midland Boulevard. Their business is quality used cars at a great price, with their #1 goal of passing the savings on to you. The latest makes and models, low mileage vehicles, with an overall experience that can't be matched. Make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard today and find that there's no better way to buy your next vehicle. Call them today at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromhertz.com. Hertz Car Sales. What are you waiting for?
Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair is your one-stop shop for all repairs. Paintless Dent Repair, door dings, unsightly dents, and hail damage repair, all repaired to like new conditions. With over 1 million repaired vehicles with satisfied customers, Michael Littleton is the expert in paintless repair. Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair, conveniently located 3 miles from the Arcoma exit off Highway 112. Or call 479-461-9764. Your #1 Arkansas fan.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
Looking to upgrade your fleet or needing professional service to your existing fleet? Carco International of Fort Smith offers the latest trucks and equipment in the industry. With over 70 years in the trucking and equipment business, they have the experience to keep you on the road. Carco International offers professional service after the sale. Carco International Parts Department supplies all makes, parts, and gives expert service. Carco International is the answer. Leave it to the pros to keep you on the road. Carco International, located at 2721 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith.
ESPN 95.3. Touchdown! Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Football's out. Razorbacks have picked it up. We're headed back the other way. Picked up by Cam Curl. He's still got the football. Curl's all the way. He's going to the house. Touchdown, Arkansas.
Hogs remain a 6.5-point underdog, depending on the sports book you're looking at. Line started at 7, so a little bit of the money leaning towards Arkansas the last few days. Hogs looking to pick up their first conference win in a little over a season and a half. So we went into the break talking about baseball and left the idea open that the Houston Astros at one point were the Vanderbilt of the, I don't even just think the American League, but Major League Baseball for a while there. They were kind of the butt of jokes. Rebuilt they basically traded away all their best players, let good players go, burnt the farm system down to a crisp, and started all over again. 100 losses 3 years in a row. 3 years later, turns into 101 wins and a World Series championship. Now they've won 103 straight years. That's quite a turnaround. I think it'd be a little more difficult for Vanderbilt to achieve that sort of a turnaround. Ty, would you say that it's different with the winning percentages? You know, like the worst the Houston Astros did as far as winning percentage during that streak of 100 lost seasons was .315. But, you know, you feel like 100 losses in a major league season is like 10 losses in a college football season. Even though you lose 10 of 12, that's a winning percentage of 16.7. So that's a lot worse than like 100 losses. It just feels the same.
I'd say it feels about right. I mean, you think about Vanderbilt as a football program. I know they were doing pretty good under James Franklin. You had 2 9-win seasons when he was their head football coach, but they have a tradition of mediocrity. And I remember we had Joe Fisher on a couple months, maybe a year or so ago, and you asked him the question about Vanderbilt struggling, and he kind of got a little defensive, and he was like, no, they've had success, blah, 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 but it's success for their fan base. It's what their fan base is used to. And, Phil, I've lived there. Like, I know the expectations of Vanderbilt. They're happy if they go to a bowl game. That's the cap off. Their fans are happy if they make it to a bowl game. And if they beat Tennessee, that's just like the frosting on top of the cake. For Arkansas, if you make a bowl game, it depends on the caliber bowl game, whether your fans are happy or not. The Texas Bowl, when Brett Bielema got them there and beat Texas, yes, it was good, mainly because the Texas win, the way you were able to close out 3 of 4 games that season, maybe 4 of 4. If you don't lose Brandon Allen injury, but he's injured during that Missouri game. So I think you just kind of have to look at it. But the Vanderbilt but their fans of late, they just are excited if you get to a bowl game. Phil, you don't ever want to get to a point where this fan base is so apathetic where they think a successful season is based on a 6-6 bowl. If you ever get to that point, that's going to be deep, dark, and just a disgusting abyss that this fan base and this football program doesn't want to ever sink down towards like Vanderbilt has, basically.
Well, I mean, you feel like if you get to 6 wins this year, somehow manage to find 4 more wins out there, that you'd practically, tear the goalposts out and have a parade down Dixon Street. But the following season, 6 wins, won't feel like enough. I think it's difficult to compare Vanderbilt to Arkansas when you look at the entire program's history and the fact that Vanderbilt has won 10 games in a season, never, and the fact that they won the 9 games twice under James Franklin, and that got Franklin the Penn State job. 9 wins at Vanderbilt is, the top of the line. That's as far as they can go. Some of that might have to do with admission requirements. Some of that might have to do with some of the facilities, lack of tradition, and the fact that you are looked upon as the 14th school in the SEC for football. Basketball, baseball, other sports, it's a whole other ball of wax. But right now, you'd have difficulty saying that Arkansas right now is a step ahead of Vanderbilt. In the current iteration of their programs. Although, I don't know how much more time Derek Mason gets to prove that he can do more than 6 wins there. He's been there now. This is the 6th season that Mason's been there. 6 wins has happened twice, including last year before losing in the Texas Bowl. And they're 1-4 right now, and they got destroyed by Ole Miss. So it doesn't appear that things are going to get any better at Vanderbilt for the time being. And Mason, I think, is on the hot seat now. And Chad Morris is in his 2nd year of a total program rebuild. Mason inherited something from James Franklin, a team that won 9 games 2 years under Franklin. So, I don't think Arkansas is at that level right now. I don't think that they are in the level of being a Vanderbilt unless, the next couple of seasons prove otherwise. Because one of the things that can start a program in some people's eyes going down a drain is a revolving door of coaches. And if there isn't improvement, notable improvement from this year to next season, then maybe you do end up seeing a bit of a revolving door around the program. And then in that case, maybe you are like a Vanderbilt. Although I think a lot of people would have trouble swallowing the thought that a program like Arkansas that does have some tradition, some real tradition and history of great teams and bowl wins could ever sink to the level of a Vanderbilt. But, things do change sometimes.
Doug in Little Rock text in on the Cherokee Casino hotline. Arkansas wishes it could be Vanderbilt. At least Vanderbilt has the excuse of academic requirements and finances for its limitations. We are the death-penalized SMU of the 2010s. Well, let's correct a few things. 1, Arkansas hasn't done anything to put in that situation. Knock on wood. 2, I promise you don't want to be Vanderbilt. I was around that campus for over a year. They have the worst football facilities in anything in the SEC by a country mile. If you ever been in that stadium, if you ever been in Nashville and walked around Vanderbilt, you would agree with me 100%. So I promise that they are not want to be Vanderbilt. Plus the academic stuff, they are already at a disadvantage, Phil, based on their facilities, based on their tradition. Then you throw a requirement on top of that has to be typically higher than everyone else in the SEC. It doesn't help them at all. And
they also have. I think that Vanderbilt's got the smallest fan base in the SEC. Just based upon the thought that Nashville's a big city. It's a big city, but there are only so many real Vanderbilt fans there. Nashville is it's volunteers town. The entire state is a volunteer state.
So you remember when the Athletics started popping off their college football coverage? The Nashville, do you know what they cover? Titans, Preds, Vols. they ignore Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, unless something's changed, the Athletic, and I'm not saying the Athletic is the end-all, be-all when it comes to what determines a fan base inside a city, but they probably have done a lot of research and numbers on what people want to hear about. Vanderbilt was not the topic of conversation most days when I worked in Nashville sports radio. It's not Arkansas. We put our heart and soul into Arkansas Razorbacks on this sports station for good reason. That's what y'all want to listen.
There are other stations around the state that do the same thing.
Yeah.
That's why. This is the Razorback state. It's not just the fact that you've got more Arkansas Razorback fans here than anybody else. One of the nicknames is the Razorback state. What is Tennessee known as? The Volunteer state. Nobody's ever said anything about a Commodore.
It's not even the Vanderbilt city. Nashville's not even Vanderbilt. It's more known for the the bridal. I'm saying bridal showers. Good grief! What is it called before you have a wedding? Bridal. Why am I blanking on that?
Oh, you're talking about
bachelorette party.
Bachelorette parties.
I'm not
bachelorette parties that are planned unknowingly in concert with the NFL draft.
Yeah.
So there are no hotel rooms available.
Make sure you check on that. But I think, Phil, back to your point, Arkansas, you don't even want to be lumped into the category of determining if you're now the new Vanderbilt in the SEC. But luckily, at least this year, Vandy's only win is against Northern Illinois by 6 points at home. So they have that. Arkansas at least has 2 wins that they can look to. But you shouldn't even be in the same conversation, Phil, being mentioned that you might become the Vanderbilt, or already are to some people, of the SEC. Like, that is how far this program has fallen when you're being mentioned in the same breath as the worst football program in the Southeastern Conference. That's pathetic. Like, that should never be the case. And I'm not talking Arkansas should be in the same breath as Alabama, LSU. You could throw Georgia in there, whoever, whatever you want to put. SEC
should always be up there, like, at least on the level of Mississippi State.
Yeah,
and you feel like Arkansas could reach the level where Auburn is. You should be ahead of Kentucky, ahead of South Carolina, on par with Texas A&M. Right now, the only 2 teams that potentially you could say Arkansas is ahead of, just based upon recent history and what you've seen this year, would be Vanderbilt and maybe Tennessee. But it'd be an argument that'd be hard to win when you haven't had a conference win since November of 2017.
And what's the most recent game of those 3 teams that have played? I guess you'd say Vanderbilt, Tennessee last year, but Arkansas lost to Vanderbilt last year. Like, that's the most recent game that they played, either against Vanderbilt and Tennessee. So there's some out there that believe, and rightfully so, that Vanderbilt's better than Arkansas right now.
Well,
and
they lost to Ole Miss 2 years in a row. That's the only other team in the SEC West that has been struggling, the way that Arkansas has. So a little bit of a depressing conversation to get to, but, facts can be facts at this point. Weekend is starting today. Get over to 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge at 906 Garrison Avenue. They've got a top chef on staff that's coming up with lunch and light dinner items you won't find anywhere else. Ask about the chicken pyro, the Cubana, love that sandwich, or wings that are jumbo roasted with honey bacon jam, plus salads, flatbreads, and desserts, coffees for lunch or dinner, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Of course, top shelf wines and liquors at 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge, plus premium beers and the most popular brands of cigars available in the state. They're on Facebook. That's 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Bob Holt from the Democrat Gazette coming after the break on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Don't spend life sitting on your hands. You're listening to Halftime.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC has over 200 pre-owned vehicles to choose from luxury to economy and everything in between, including over 50 great vehicles with payments under $250 a month, certain to fit your needs and your budget. And at Harry Robinson Buick GMC, you always get more for your trade. 50 vehicles with payments under $250 a month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off I-540 in Fort Smith.
Every day, vegetables are ripped from the earth, sliced, diced, even something called julienne. But for just $5 a day, you can help. Get 2 Hardee's Original Roast Beef Sandwiches for just $5. Slow-cooked beef, hand-dipped in rich au jus, each prepared without harming a single vegetable. So come to Hardee's, get 2 Original Roast Beef Sandwiches, and save the veggies. Hardee's, because it tastes better. Available for a limited time after regular breakfast hours at participating restaurants. Tax not included. Price and participation may vary.
Want to do something scary? Really scary? It's Magic Screams at Magic Springs,
the scare capital of Arkansas.
3 haunted attractions, including the new Carnival number 9 in 3D.
Ride wicked thrill rides in the dark.
Plus, fun for kids means family fun by day, fright by night. September 28th through November 3rd. Park opens at noon. Magic Screams at Magic Springs, the scare capital of Arkansas. Buy discount tickets online for big savings.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code, Football Edition. This is how you say, game tonight. Bring Bud Light. Fantasy fees are due. That's it for today.
Brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light, crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Thank goodness that the fall season is upon us. And with this special time of year comes football, cooler weather, changing leaves, and free internet and phone service from Pinnacle Telecom. That's right. Switch your phone and internet service over to Pinnacle Telecom and get your first month free. Take advantage of Pinnacle Telecom's fast fiber internet and or hosted telephone service, and your first month's bill is on us. So let Pinnacle Telecom make your fall even better with this one-of-a-kind first month free promotion. Pinnacle Telecom, tomorrow's technology today.
Sundays, Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays are all about football. And TGI Fridays in Fort Smith has all-day specials every game day. TGI Fridays has the game on and all your favorite beers, drinks, and appetizers, including $2 draft beers, $5 pitchers, and $3 specialty drinks. Plus delicious appetizers like loaded cheese fries, boneless wings, skillet queso, and lots more for only $5. Football, food, and fun all day long. If it's game day, it's TGI Fridays, I-540 and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Upgrade your evening on the Avenue. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Davis, first down, a bunch more. There's one of those types of scores as he'll take it the distance. Touchdown, Arkansas. 62 yards.
Let's talk with Bob Holt from the Democrat Gazette about Arkansas, Kentucky coming up this Saturday. Bob, you excited about a trip to Lexington? That's a decent city to visit. What do you think about Lexington?
Yeah, Lexington's a good city. I've been there, I guess, twice for football games. For football games, and a lot of times for basketball games. Even covered some SEC track there before. So, yeah, Lexington's a good city, and, good. If people are there in town, I recommend Joe Bellotta's. It's an Italian restaurant. It's actually in a synagogue, or it used to be a synagogue. Now it's a restaurant. That's a really good Italian restaurant, very reasonably priced downtown.
So I thought Tom Murphy made a great point. I feel like this was something we got into earlier in the week, Ty, about how the offensive production based upon points doesn't match up with the production of yardage. Hogs are 29th in the country in pass yards, 49th in the country in total yards per game, and rank 31st in total first downs. But they're 72nd in scoring. And does it seem that it's really based upon a couple of things, an inability to sustain the run and struggles in the red zone, or do you see something else going on there?
I think it's primarily the struggles in the red zone. I mean, Nick Starkel, I think, got a high ceiling, a lot of upside, a big arm. He's made some really nice plays, but he's thrown 7 interceptions, and I think 3 of those have been at the goal line. And so, and then they've also had, they've gotten stopped on downs. And I think, Tom, you're right. He actually, previous week, I think they're like 126th or 125th or something like that in red zone scoring. I mean, they're only scoring like 65% of the time. And versus like LSU scored 31 of 31 red zones, 28 touchdowns. So Arkansas is leaving a lot of points out there, either from turnovers or getting stopped on downs, and so that's something they've got to stop doing if they're gonna win more games. And Nick talked about that this week. He's got to make better decisions with the ball. Houston Nutt had a line about throwing it to grandma, meaning throwing the ball away, like throw it up in the, not necessarily into the stands literally, but figuratively. And sometimes you just gotta, you're in the red zone, the third down play's not there, throw the ball away, take the field goal. Chad Morris stressed you want to be kicking. Obviously, you'd rather kick an extra point or a field goal or a punt, for field position, but you don't want to, turn the ball over on takeaways by the other team.
A quarterback sometimes feels added pressure, for a team that's struggling to score. You're that close to scoring. You want 6 instead of 3, so you just kind of force one in there. I want to get your perspective on something that we brought up earlier this week too. Urban Meyer at the Little Rock Touchdown Club, and I think Urban was just kind of trying to please the people he was talking to, and he said that he sees Arkansas as a 10-win program, that they should be a program that wins 10 games. And if you're just going by the history of the program, I'm not sure that you can really say that. I mean, it was Petrino that took him to 10 wins 2 years in a row. Frank Broyles did that. Otherwise, nobody else has done that before. So, I mean, would you have expectations that Arkansas could ever reach a spot where they become a year after year 10-win program? And would you base that upon just being Arkansas, or is it based upon who the head coach is?
Yeah, I don't think it's realistic for Arkansas in today's SEC to be a consistent 10-game. Actually, Houston Nutt had a 10-win season. They were 10-4. Obviously, teams are playing more games now. But yeah, and I don't think that's a knock on Arkansas. I mean, I think, Alabama, LSU, Auburn, maybe Florida, Georgia, used to be Tennessee, but they've fallen down. But it's very, very well. It's hard to win 10 games in college football, period, whatever league you're in. And if you're Arkansas trying to climb your way out of the bottom of the SEC West and climb over all these great programs, it's just not realistic. This is 1960, where Arkansas and Texas ruled the Southwest Conference, and Frank Broyles and Darrell Royal and all that. That's I'm not quite. Yeah, I wasn't there, but it sounds like Urban Meyer's probably playing to the audience. Arkansas certainly is capable of winning 10 games, as has been proven, periodically. But except for that time in the 1960s when Arkansas was, one of the top programs consistently in the country, that's just not realistic with Arkansas being in the SEC. But I think they can certainly be a program that goes to bowl games consistently, and every once in a while can win 10 games. But yeah, I'm not sure what Urban Meyer was thinking when he said that.
Speaking of Bob Holt of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette on the Cherokee Casino Hotline, Bob, you and Tom collaborated on an article earlier this week talking about special teams. And if you look at the special teams compared last year to this year, you think with the addition of Traylon Burks, they've been better on punt returns. The punting, though, has not been up to snuff. Now, the kicking, Connor Libert's delivered like he did last season. Do you think punting's really the only part of special teams that's gotten maybe worse compared to last year?
Yeah, I don't know if it's gotten worse. I don't know if it's gotten much better, but I think Sam Loy is probably an upgrade over Reed Bauer. No offense to Reed Bauer, but and Loy hasn't kicked as well as I think he's capable, because we watched him in practice, and he's got a strong leg, and he kicked pretty well at Vanderbilt, and he's had his moments. He just hadn't been consistent. They definitely need him to be more consistent, but he's shown that he can do the job. He just needs he can do it, time in and time out. Like the Duffy for Kentucky is just killing the ball. He's averaging over 50 yards to lead the nation. Of course, sometimes distance can be deceptive if you want to down it inside the 10 or whatever. And Arkansas messed that up a couple of times where they had a chance to down the ball inside the 5 and didn't get it done. But yeah, special teams overall much better. I mean, Connor Limpert's, he's had a couple misses that you thought he would have made, but overall I think he's 8 of 10. He's hitting the ball into the end zone for touchbacks. Traylon Burks, even though he catches the ball kind of funky, he's probably their best punt returner from a playmaking standpoint, probably since Joe Adams, I would say. And they haven't given up, touchdown returns, which that was an issue last year. And so, I think the special teams are better all the way around. And maybe punting's kind of where it was last year, which wasn't good. That's the one area where they can definitely improve.
Bob, I don't know if you saw the highlight a couple weeks back of Cash Daniel, the Kentucky linebacker, trying to work Kyle Trask's ankle. And after the play was dead, he was trying to almost contort it, and it looked like he was trying to break it, basically. When the coaching staffs for opposing teams see that, whether it's Chad Morris, Joe Craddock, or any of the offensive coaches, do you think they warn players about this guy a little bit prior to the game, or do you think that's just one of those things that goes over their head and it's not that big of a deal and it happens in the sport of college football?
Yeah, I didn't see the play live. It got a lot of traction, I guess you'd say, on Twitter, and I saw it, and it definitely looked like he was trying to twist his foot off his ankle, so it looked like to me like if you had I remember, if they even have G.I. Joes anymore, but I remember when I was a kid we had G.I. Joes and you could twist their feet around. And it definitely looked like a dirty play. I know he claimed it wasn't. And I'm sure, I never played football, so I'm sure all kinds of things happen at the bottom of that pile that aren't very pleasant. I don't know if I definitely would warn the players, although if you're sitting there with guys on top and guys trying to twist your foot, I'm not sure there's a lot you can do about it. I would probably be more apt if I was a coach to make sure the refs know about this, and I would assume the SEC, maybe privately had some discussions about that. But I'd say, hey man, make sure this guy isn't twisting my guy's ankle around, But I'm sure that happens. Unfortunately, it probably happens more than we realize, and that just happened to get a spotlight shined on it. But unfortunately, that's probably just part of sports sometimes.
Bob, we've got about 30 seconds. Today's hashtag holiday is Tuxedo Day. Can you remember the last time you wore a tuxedo?
I don't think I've ever worn a tuxedo. Like
Never?
When I was in high school, we just wore suits to proms. We didn't wear tuxedos. So, and I've never been like best man or whatever. So, yeah, I don't think I've ever worn a tuxedo.
All right, so you can't participate in this hashtag holiday, but we appreciate you participating in the interview, Bob. Thanks so much. Enjoy the trip to Lexington. We'll talk next week.
Okay, you guys take care.
You got it. That's Bob Holt, the tuxedo-less wonder from the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Ty, when's the last time you wore a tuxedo?
When I was drinking some ice-cold Coors Light, Phil.
Really?
Exactly, yeah. It happened that way, I guess. Coors Light, they take pride in the process to make the world's most refreshing beer. It's not going to get colder, Phil, because it's cold lagered, cold packaged, and cold filtered. And the best part about the can, it's cold activated. So when your beer's extremely cold, like Coors Light always is, the mountains on the can are blue. And Phil, what do you always do when the mountains are blue?
You make sure your tie is tied straight on your tuxedo.
That, and you go for two. Coors Light, made to chill.
Forgot about that. When's the last time you wore a tuxedo? 877-377-6963, the Cherokee Casino hotline. We're back after the break on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
You're listening to Halftime.
When was the last time you looked forward to seeing the dentist? Well, if it's been a while or you haven't had the best of experience with dentistry, meet Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry. They take care of it all. Crowns, bonding, dentures, bleaching, and cosmetic dentistry. They even offer oral consciousness sedation available for your comfort. That's Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry at 807 South 21st. Call for an appointment today, 494-7600. That's 494-7600.
Archery season is underway, and black powder season is just days away. And Jelco Outdoors has all your black powder rifles and supplies to get you ready for your hunt. Brands like CBA, Traditions, and Thompson Center. Stop by Jelco Outdoors, your premier locally owned sporting goods store in the River Valley, for all your fall hunting gear. Shop local. Shop Jelco Outdoors. And remember, a great hunt begins at Jelco Outdoors.
You've worked hard your whole life anticipating the day you could finally retire. If that day is near, there are 5 things you need to do. Spend wisely, understand your retirement plan distribution options, plan for your required minimum distributions, know your Social Security options, and consider phasing. Call Brad Lewis at United Financial Advisors to discuss these steps in detail at 242-7466 or through our website at ufadvisors.net.
Securities and advisory services offered through Royal Alliance Associates, member FINRA SIPC. United Financial Advisors is a marketing destination.
We did it again. Evans Body Shop has been voted the best independent collision repair shop in the River Valley for the 2nd year in a row. None of it would have been possible without our top-notch crew and our customers, friends, and family that take their time to vote for us. We would like to say thank you. We are humbled by the continued loyalty and support from our community and staff and will continue to go above and beyond every day. Evans Body Shop, 412 Gordon Avenue, Van Buren. Come by today and see why we say
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Spring is in the air. Not in the house, Dalton. Okay, AJ. Aw, snap, I told you not in the house. Red Kool-Aid all over the white carpet. Mom and Dad are gonna... It's okay, AJ. I can't believe it. We're so in trouble. I told you so.
Thank you for calling Service Master Clean. This is Tanya. How can I help you?
Tanya, it's Dalton. For the clean you expect and the service you deserve. Think Service Master Clean. Visit us online at smcleanonline.com.
Got a mystery stain on the carpet and the kids insist they don't know what it is? Or you're just ready to give the house a good spring cleaning? Call Service Master Clean at 646-4087. Call today for spring specials.
Service Master Clean. For the clean you expect and the service you deserve. It's okay, AJ.
Keep your stuff yours. Would you spend less than $500 to secure your home? Guardtronic offers a home security package for only $425 and $19.95 a month. If an alarm goes off, Guardtronic makes the call to get you help 24/7, 365. Celebrating 60 years in business, Guardtronic is a family-owned business, now in the third generation of folks who want to make sure your stuff stays yours. Call them today, 785-2323, or visit guardtronic.com. License E050.
Hey, Fort Smith, the Hampton Inn by Hilton was ranked in the top 10 Hampton hotels in the U.S., and their devotion to top-notch hospitality shows. With complimentary Wi-Fi, a free hot breakfast, and all of the bells and whistles you would expect, this newly renovated hotel has it all. They offer Hilton's digital key technology, meeting spaces, an indoor pool, and sports court. Hampton Inn by Hilton gives you everything you need for business or leisure travel. Give them a call at 479-452-2000 and see for yourself why the Hampton Inn is Fort Smith's best hotel.
ESPN 95.3. Touchdown! Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Back to pass, Grovey. Quarterback draw. He's got a hole. He may go. He's at the 5. Touchdown, Arkansas.
We were kind of comparing earlier in the show about where Arkansas stands in the SEC, if they're at the level that Vanderbilt's been at pretty much for the entire existence of Vanderbilt. We do have someone, Justin in Boonville, pointing out about Mississippi State was a Vanderbilt type until Dan Mullen, and that's absolutely true. I forget exactly, but they'd had, I think, 3 winless seasons in conference while they had Sylvester Croom as the head coach. Mississippi State has had I think another coach who you could say at least had some great seasons, if not maybe being a great coach, Jackie Sherrill. Sherrill was at Mississippi State for the last 13 years of his head coaching career. He did take them to a Peach Bowl win and a 10-win season in '99. Sherrill also was the coach at Pitt from 79 through 81, won 11 games each of those years, was the coach of Dan Marino, a couple of 10-win seasons at Texas A&M. So, Dan Mullen is a great coach. I think Jackie Sherrill had great seasons. But really only got Mississippi State to that level once. Yeah, I mean, when I moved to Arkansas in 2001, Ty, Arkansas, I think, would have been way ahead of Mississippi State, of Vanderbilt, of Kentucky, I think South Carolina at that time. And really, I mean, even at that point, it felt like they were ahead of Alabama. I mean, that was during the days when Alabama was kind of wandering around looking for the right coach. So things can change, and unfortunately for the last couple of years, Arkansas has trended downward.
Glenn asked on our Facebook live stream, Phil, are we smart enough to be Vanderbilt?
Well,
I guess asking the question of I will say, I think, at least when I was in school, I want to say the academic ACT requirement was at 20. I mean, there were some certain things you could get around that, but I'm pretty sure for the blanket of getting a student accepted at least was at 20. And I think Vanderbilt's just a teensy-weensy bit higher than that, Phil.
Well, there's one of those schools in like every conference, right? I mean, you got Northwestern in the Big Ten, and up until this year, it looked like Pat Fitzgerald had a pretty good thing going there in Evanston. I think academic standards are pretty high. That's the one school that rejected me flat out when I applied to it as my reach school.
You never told me that.
That's right. I did. I applied. That was the reach school when I put out the feelers to universities. Even took a visit. Thought it'd be a great place. I would have gone there if I got in, but didn't have the grades, didn't have the test scores, and just flat out wasn't smart enough.
I think you would have hated it. I think it's a good thing that you went to Indiana instead, because I feel, and maybe I'm wrong.
Right, because I only lasted 2 years in Indiana because I had a major in partying.
Hear me out. So, and maybe this is just a throw at the dart statement on a private school that I've never been to. I can't tell you. I know one buddy that went there, and he's pretty cool, but it seems like a kind of a snooty, snobby. Like, that's not you. Like, I know I went to a private school in high school, but Arkansas's not like that.
Oh,
like
I can be. I can be plenty snooty and snobby if I needed to.
Let me know the next gala you go to, Phil, and I'll join you because you won't be there because that's just not. Oh, I lied. You went with a lovely lady the other night, didn't you?
To what?
Like a gala or something.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Never mind.
We haven't been anything like that in a while.
See, that's just not you, and that's not me either. That's why I'm always going to have this how I'm dressed now for the rest of my life. I mean, you're a t-shirt and khaki shorts kind of guy, just like me.
Here it is. It's tuxedo day, and I certainly do not own a tuxedo. I think the last one that I wore would have been to my sister's wedding, which was 2006, I think, or 2007. So I think it's been over 10 years. The last time I put on a Penguin suit.
I'm trying to think. So I wore one when I was a kid. I was the not the flower boy, but where you're holding the girls.
The flower boy.
Yeah, not
the ring bearer.
That's it.
Or an
ring
usher.
bearer.
One of those two. The flower
It's
boy.
one
Can
of
I
the
call
two.
you? Can I call you Ty the flower boy for the rest of the day?
Rather not get that nickname from now
Okay.
on. But I think that's the last time I wore one because I think at both my sister's weddings they were just shirt and tie. Like we were obviously dressed up nice, but it wasn't a tuxedo. And I don't remember doing that in prom or winter formal in high school. So.
Well, if I get another award, maybe I'll and get to go to the banquet. Maybe I'll put a Penguin suit on for that.
Okay. You invite me too, right?
You can come, but you're going to have to wear a tuxedo. You can't go the normal route.
Okay. Cool. So I was whatchamacallit, Dave Gorin, our friend out in Wake Forest or North Carolina, Wake Forest obviously being there, invited me to be in the the National Broadcaster Association. Is it NAB? It's changed names a couple times.
NMSA, the National Sports Media Association.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about doing it just so in hopefully 20 years I can win the award that you've won 3 times and go to that illustrious banquet out there.
He's just trying to get dollars off his membership, by the way. They've got an incentive plan out there to get some new members. So you're a sucker.
Am I being
here.
used?
You're
okay.
being used.
So don't
That's exactly right.
So don't do it. Okay, that's what I'm hearing.
No, why not? Why not? Here's some tidbits from Arkansas practice, and you're going to wonder about who's starting in left tackle for the Hogs Saturday because Colton Jackson remains in the concussion protocol. So that probably opens up left tackle for Myron Cunningham, but does take a little bit of the depth away from that offensive line. And, oh, by the way, I saw that a couple of the nose guards for Kentucky, I mean, these are guys that are pushing nearly 4 bills, like
Big
360 and 380.
Yeah.
So good luck. And Ty Clary is expected to be back, available to play. I think it's based upon if he can or can't practice fully today. He was in the green jersey yesterday, which means no contact. And Chad Morris said that he expects that Clary should be back in practice today. The other thing, too, I mean, you never know what – I just think Chad Morris is trying to be optimistic about the thought of having his starting center in there, and potentially you might not have Clary there because earlier this week he had said that he expected Jordan Jones would be available for Saturday's game. The receiver has been out with an ankle injury since the last week of camp, and yet he's listed as very doubtful in the Democrat Gazette report for Saturday's game. So I think sometimes when it comes to these injury reports, Ty, that Chad Morris is a little bit more optimistic than realistic.
Do you have a nickname?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I've got a couple of nicknames that I can't say on the radio properly. That's right. Yeah, I mean some pretty dirty ones that I got from baseball players.
So the offensive captain this week is Hayden Johnson, and his nickname is the Doctor. This is from Scotty Bordelon that says that. I'm kind of curious. I'm wondering because he puts people in the hospital with his hits. Like
I don't get that one. So I had a nickname given to me by a traveler manager once, and it was Doc, which I thought was cool. And it was because I was Dr. Phil, like Dr. Phil, the TV personality. And I'm certainly not out there, distributing relationship advice. But for some reason, he thought I was like Dr. Feelgood, which is another. Maybe that's a song I should assign to you, a heavy metal song from the 80s.
What about Adrian Branch of ESPN college basketball? We got a chance to talk with him at the Dan Burden Outdoor Expo FCA event a couple weeks ago. He said, "Feel the thrill." You like that, or you not?
Feel the thrill's okay. I've been called cream cheese. I've been called McCracken. I mean, there's some other ones that I can't repeat that are pretty much just baseball clubhouse nicknames.
You can tell me off air though, right? Like
sure, I can let you know off the
okay,
air, and
cool.
I could probably tweet it without being punished by the FCC.
Do it. Tweet all the offensive nicknames.
I don't know.
Okay.
There's a lot of nicknames. There's a lot of areas you can go with a name like Phil.
Yeah, that's fair. All right,
areas that I didn't even realize. So
Hayden Johnson, against the offensive captain, his nickname is the Doctor, as dubbed by his teammates. Another interesting tidbit that Scotty wrote about, KJ Jefferson is probably going to travel this week. That's what.
So
it's
this is the
looking like.
first game that he will travel with Arkansas?
I want to say it's the first road game. So obviously that's the only way you travel, but I believe that is correct.
Well,
now,
I mean,
might want to double check on that.
Now you can start wondering about, I mean, at the worst, there are, how many games remaining here? There are 6 games remaining, 7 games remaining.
Are you
Kentucky,
counting this
Auburn,
one? Okay,
Bama, Mississippi State, Western Kentucky, LSU, Mizzou.
See, I would think the back 4 stretch. Now, Mississippi State, you get them at home. Western Kentucky, obviously get that. You get a bye to prepare for LSU. I know it's in Baton Rouge, and you get Missouri. I would think if you're going to burn 4 games on them, which again, under the new redshirt rule, you can use a player up to 4 games, and he can keep his redshirt. We've heard from Chad Moore several times this season. He plans to redshirt KJ Jefferson. I would think that stretch of games, compared to the others you're about to play, might be the better move if you're going to try and get him some game action. And that way he has that much more time to learn the playbook and hopefully get some packages for him down the stretch, Phil.
Yeah, I'd imagine that next year when he probably is a redshirt freshman and Nick Starkel is in his second year starting at quarterback for Arkansas, that there's a series of plays, like a few pages in the playbook that are designed specifically for somebody like KJ Jefferson with the ability to run and the ability to throw. And, I mean, why not find a way to work that in sometime this season? Even towards the end of the season, if a win, maybe gets you to a bowl game potentially, if you're in that position, that would add a piece to the Arkansas offense that isn't really there. So, and look, I know you don't want to put a kid in a situation that he can't handle or just isn't ready for. But there is something to be said about the idea of some game experience, running some plays that you will also be utilized for the following year. So who knows, maybe that starts this Saturday against the Kentucky Wildcats. I know there have been a lot of people that have been clamoring for getting KJ in.
Yeah, my opinion, and again, it doesn't measure up to Morris or Craddock, I hope they wait until that Mississippi State game. If they're going to play him in 4 straight games, that's what I'm hoping for.
Well, maybe you just let him start the Western Kentucky game and see what happens there.
Oh,
right?
Throwing that out, are we?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Throw another one out there. We're going to throw some baseball out there after the break. Also got some ideas on where we might want to camp out if we figure on doing some sort of a radio stunt involving Arkansas winning, finally, a game. So stick around on halftime. We'll be right back on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Great camping weather is just around the corner, so at Breeden RV in Van Buren, we're having our year-end clearance sale right now. Get great deals on new RVs like travel trailers that start at $99.95 and fifth wheels starting under $30,000. Breeden RV is the only dealer that gives our new customers maintenance for life for free. We also have a great selection of pre-camp trailers and RVs to choose from. Now is the time to camp, and now is the time to let Breeden RV in Van Buren show you just how easy it can be. Breeden RV, your home for maintenance for life.
Oh, that's an RV.
It's cleanup time at Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poteau. Make your best deal of the season on the best-selling economy tractor in Arkansas and Oklahoma, the L2501 Kubota, or increase your productivity with the larger L4701. Need something smaller? Try Kubota's BX or B-Series tractor. Now is your time for savings at Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poteau, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
The Catfish Kitchen at the top of Logtown Hill in Van Buren has lunch specials every weekday from 11 till 2, starting at only $7.99. Try the 3-piece catfish filet dinner with hand-cut fries and all the fixins. It's only $11.29. And the Catfish Kitchen is more than catfish. Try their shrimp dinners, cooked any way you like it. Chicken tenders, crab cakes, or one of their po' boy sandwiches. The Catfish Kitchen, open Tuesday through Sunday 11 till 9 at 727 Fayetteville Road at the top of Logtown Hill, across from the police station in Van Buren.
Right now, I'm holding a perfectly ice-cold Coors Light. You know how I know it's the perfect temperature? Because the mountain on the can is blue. And also, it's really cold. Every Coors Light is cold filtered, cold lagered, and cold packaged. Notice how many times I said cold? 3 times. It's that cold. So make sure the mountain on your can of Coors Light is blue, because that means it's ready to enjoy. 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative is excited to introduce Wave Rural Connect, bringing state-of-the-art fiber internet, TV, and phone services right into the homes of all their members. Get amazing fast fiber internet 100 megabits for only $49.95 per month, or 1 gigabit for $79.95 per month. Go to waveruralconnect.com to find out where they're installing in your area, or call 1-833-4WAVE-RC. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Partly to mostly cloudy sky tonight, and overnight low will drop down upper 50s to lower 60s. We should see an isolated shower or thunderstorm on Thursday, especially across the north. Our high temperatures in the low to mid 80s. Better chance of showers and thunderstorms working their way in Thursday night, overnight lows in the 50s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by Harry Robinson Buick GMC, where you always get more for your trade. Exit 11 off I-540 in Fort Smith. You can shop anytime at harryrobinson.com.
I hate everything you just said. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bush and Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
They're hilarious.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas? Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Phil, you're one of the best baseball announcers in the country, and Ty, you're one of the best up-and-coming young talents in the broadcasting industry. You really do your homework.
See ya, D-Mac. Hold on, Matt Ryan. D-Mac not looking back. Touchdown.
How about that Heisman, Mark Jones?
How do you like
wide
it?
Open again.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Kelly's one-strike pitch. Swinging a fly ball, center field deep. Bellinger going back to the warning track, to the wall. It's a grand slam. Howie Kendrick has done it. They're going crazy in the Nationals dugout. Howie Kendrick with a grand slam here in the 10th inning of Game 5. The Nationals 7, the Dodgers 3.
There's Dave Jagler on the call on the Washington Nationals radio network, and former Arkansas Traveler Howie Kendrick, who I was once told by his mom on an email, call him Howard on the radio,
Put
please,
some
because that's what we
respect on
call
his
him.
Name.
Howie didn't care what you called him. His family did. So his baseball cards would say Howard, and I think they still do. Howie Kendrick, the postseason hero for the Washington Nationals. And how about that? Come from behind win, down 3-0 early, and managed to tie with a couple of home runs off future Hall of Famer Clayton Kershaw. What was Kershaw doing on the mound in the 8th inning after getting a strikeout to leave some base runners in the 7th? What is he doing pitching in relief at that moment? But Howie Kendrick helps the Nationals to their first ever Division Series victory. And the franchise that started in Montreal in 1969 is in their second league championship series all time. Remember, I think we touched on it. Who are the franchises that have never even been to a World Series that are still around? It's the Expos and it's the Seattle Mariners. And that's it. The Expos Nationals and the Seattle Mariners. Everybody else has been to one. You add the Pirates from 1979. So if you go from 1980, 3 teams have never been to the World Series. And I think it would be tough to root against the Nationals right now. But, of course, who is Kendrick playing for last year? He was playing for the Dodgers.
The Dodgers. Yeah,
he was playing for the Dodgers. So, I mean, there's a lot to get to from yesterday's Major League playoffs. So we start here with the Nationals and the Dodgers. And, I mean, you know, L.A. had everything to lose. You know, being at home, another 100-win season, the expectations. And you had heard me say it. I mean, I thought head and shoulders they were the best team in the National League. And, you know, sure, the Dodgers have had issues with the bullpen, but Washington's bullpen has been pretty bad, you know, to the point to where they rely on starters to work in relief in the postseason. But then again, the Dodgers did too by putting Kershaw out there. And, You know, he gets Buehler out of the 7th inning with a strikeout. You still have Kenta Maeda, who is, I think he might be the best reliever for the Dodgers. He was ready to go, lefty reliever, and after Kershaw gives up the back-to-back bombs to Anthony Rendon and to Juan Soto, then you bring Maeda out, and he strikes out the side to keep the game tied going into the 9th. Joe Kelly kept it tied in the 9th. The Dodgers came that close to what looked like a walk-off home run by I think it was Will Smith in that 9th inning. The point where they were coming over the dugout railing.
Mm-hmm.
They were coming over. I mean, Cody Bellinger looked like he was ready to rip his uniform off, Superman style, and charge the field. And then for some reason, Kelly goes back out there. Now, Kelly was good for Boston in relief last year, but this season he'd been injured. He wasn't the same Joe Kelly. And you almost felt that the Dodgers were lucky that Kelly got them through that bottom of the 9th inning. But since he did that, why does Dave Roberts tempt fate again by sending him out there for the 10th inning when he's got his closer Kenley Jansen even warming up? So Kelly loads the bases, and he still keeps him in to pitch to Howie Kendrick. It's a mind-boggling decision that is going to haunt Martinez. Roberts until the day he's done, unless he finds a way to get the Dodgers back into this position again sometime in the next few years and wins a World Series. Because he'll be remembered now as the manager that lost back-to-back World Championships, had some questionable decisions in those World Series, and then yesterday's game really speaks for itself.
That's just a bummer. Like, for them to do what they did, and again, you mentioned National League-wise, there was the most pressure on them to make the World Series for a 3rd consecutive year, and there were a lot of pits. Almost said the Athletics, the Nationals were kind of an afterthought because of their bullpen issues, and I know that they have a couple good starting pitchers in Strasburg and Scherzer and a couple good hitters, but it was pretty evident that the Dodgers were the clear favorites of that game, and then the series kept chugging along, and the Nats pushed it to 5, and you're thinking, Phil, they started the game up 3-0, and you're thinking, oh, they're gonna blow them out and end it, and then the Nats just prodded along, got back in the game. For Kershaw to give up not just 1 but 2 home runs in relief appearance,
back to back,
yeah, exactly. So it's just a bummer for such. And we'll stick on Kershaw here for a second. It's a bummer for such a dominant regular season pitcher to have the miscues, to have the fallouts, to have the breakdowns in postseason like Clayton does.
You know, I mean, he's had a couple of good outings out there. The top of the list, I think, would be the division series win against the Braves last year. He threw 8 innings of shutout ball, but didn't back that up very well in the World Series, and got hammered a couple of times, losing 2 games, and then takes a loss in the 1 start he made in this year's division series, and then ends up, blowing the save, working in relief yesterday. So yeah, it's also a stain on Kershaw's career. I've seen some memes out there that are calling him, with the success of the movie The Joker right now with Joaquin Phoenix. I saw a meme with it's Kershaw's headshot. He's got the Joker clown makeup on him, and it says The Choker. So, and it's, I mean, if you saw Kershaw on the bench, watch on television last night, you see him on the bench after he gets pulled, that's going to take a long time for him to bounce back from it. Look, nobody's going to feel sorry for somebody making like $30 million a year, but it's tough to put these two things together. 2.44 career regular season ERA, allowing just over 1 base runner per inning for his career. The whip for Kershaw is 1.008. It's one of the greatest of all time. Postseason, 443 earned run average with a whip that's up to 1.1, which still isn't bad, but he gives up a ton of homers. 24 home runs allowed by Kershaw in 32 career postseason games. And that's mind-blowing. So the Dodgers are done, and now you've got a Braves versus you got a Cardinals versus Nationals matchup, and I mean we've got a lot of Cardinals fans that are tuning in. 10 runs in the first inning.
Woo!
It's just absolutely beside myself. You could tell, though, from the start, Fultonevich did not have very good command, though he got screwed over by his fielders, and Freddie Freeman is as good of a first baseman as you'll find over the last 5, 7, 8, 9 years, not just at the plate but in the field. And he boots what should have been an inning-ending double play ball that would have held the Cardinals to 1 run in the first inning. And they end up scoring 9 runs. I think it was 8 runs with 1 out, and then tack on another one. And, Brian McCann misses a drop third strike. He throws it away, leading to another run. And that's the way McCann's career ends. McCann, who, has been with the Yankees, the Astros, and the Braves twice, known more for the Braves. He's from the Atlanta area. He ended his career with that 13-1 drubbing at the hands of the Cardinals, announced his retirement to the media in the locker room postgame.
We were talking about how bad Clayton Kershaw felt. You should have heard Tom Murphy on the Morning Rush. He felt devastated, and I know that he was watching the game at practice yesterday. Hutch got a picture of him, and he just looked distraught. And that's just not for him, but all the Atlanta Braves yesterday. For them to have the season, for them to have the talent compiled for this team, and then to end it like that at home. Not in Busch Stadium, at home. Is it SunTrust Park? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even, adding the intentional hit batter to the loss too. With Jack Flaherty hitting Ronald Acuna, I don't care what Flaherty was saying. He did that on purpose. So then you get the Game 5 in the American League today. 2 former Pirates going at each other. It is Glass now for the Rays and Garrett Cole for the Astros. And you give the edge to the Astros playing at home where they've been dominant. They've got a pitcher out there on the mound. They threw 7 2/3 scoreless with 15 strikeouts last time out against the same team. But it's almost impossible to make predictions in this crazy game, especially in October. But I think you'll see a pretty entertaining ball game. We'll come back after the break. We continue to entertain you on Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
You're listening to Halftime. This is the Morning Rush.
It's just amazing that when Eric Musselman is in front of the media or in front of the fans, and now we got to see what he's like, seeing him in that coach's role, to see how vocal he was, to see how detail-oriented he seemed to be with just the small things, like, for instance, calling a timeout because his team wasn't lined up correctly on the free throw line. That's the type of thing that you like to see if you're a Razorback basketball fan.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
There's never been a better time to make the move to Dish with tons of free offers this weekend with World of Wireless.
Come by the corner of Phoenix and Rogers Avenue. Call WOW now, 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474. Or go to shopwownow.com for all the freebies this weekend. For example, free voice remote. You get a free hopper installed in your home. You get free installation in your home. You get a free 2-year price TV guarantee with Dish and WOW this weekend, along with a free $200 Visa gift card. Let's see, what else can we do? How about the NFL Red Zone? Premium sports channels free through the end of the year. Let's go with 3 months of free movie channels. It's just a ton of free stuff this weekend when you sign up for Dish.
How about for military and first responders?
Free channels, free additional channels with them, and a free movie night on Dish every month when you're a military and first responder.
All right, get all the details when you call WOW now. That's 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for World of Wireless.
If you have experience transporting frozen and refrigerated goods and want to be part of a trucking family with insurance and be home every week, you need to contact Brent Higgins Trucking. Since 1997, Brent Higgins Trucking in Mulberry has been proudly delivering to and from various areas of the United States, including but not limited to Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Brent Higgins Trucking, where you're a name, not a number. Call them at 479-997-2366 or log on to BrentHigginsTrucking.com.
Your fence is more than a decoration. It's a reflection of its owner. Choosing a fence company should be done with integrity and quality in mind. The Fence Man has been providing fencing and security solutions for over 40 years. An in-house custom iron and gate department, plus an access control department. The Fence Man offers services other companies aren't equipped to do. The Fence Man, fencing and security solutions to protect what matters most. 479-782-3936 or online at thefencemancompany.com, a division of Quantum Property Services.
Do you hear that Coors Light being poured? It's the perfect temperature. How can I tell just based on the sound? I can't. But I can see that the mountain on the can is blue. And when the mountain is blue, your Coors Light is perfectly cold. Coors Light is cold lagered for a crisper taste, cold filtered for brightness and clarity, and cold packaged for peak refreshment. Doesn't that sound good? 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Frank Rowe Furniture.
Made in the USA Furniture.
Frank Rowe Furniture.
Made in the USA Speed Queen Washer and Dryers.
Frank Rowe Furniture.
In-store, no credit check financing.
Frank Rowe Furniture.
0 down and 0 interest with approved credit.
Frank Rowe Furniture.
Family owned and no high-pressure sales staff.
Frank Rowe Furniture.
Find us on Facebook and Instagram. 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Your Made in the USA headquarters.
Best seats in the house.
If football is being played, TGI Fridays in Fort Smith is the place to watch and enjoy. No matter the day of the week or time of the day, TGI Fridays has the game on and all your favorite beers, drinks, and appetizers, including $2 draft beers, $5 pitchers, and $3 specialty drinks. Plus delicious appetizers like loaded cheese fries, boneless wings, skillet queso, and lots more for only $5. Football, food, and fun all day long. If it's game day, it's TGI Fridays, I-540 and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts, we're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
And off Hillis. Peyton Hillis being chased but will not be caught. 65-yard touchdown.
Halftime this Thursday brought to you by Breeden RV in Van Buren, where they're having their year-end clearance sale right now with great deals on new RVs. Travel trailers starting at $99.95, fifth wheels starting under $30,000, and Breeden RV is the only dealer that gives new customers maintenance for life for free. Plus a great selection of pre-camp trailers and RVs to choose from. Let Breeden RV in Van Buren show you how easy it can be with camping time right around the corner. That's BreedenRVs.com, a place to look online. So Phil Elson here, Ty Richardson in the ESPN Arkansas studios. Our Cherokee Casino hotline, 877-377-6963. Did you see this radio personality in Knoxville? Tyler Ivins is living on the roof of a car dealership until the Volunteers get a win. And let's see, Tennessee lines up against Mississippi State at Neyland Stadium this Saturday. I think that could be a winnable game, but then if you're Tennessee, who knows? After that, it's Alabama. So if they lose to the Bulldogs, Tyler Ivins might as well I don't think he's got a tent up there, but he might as well get himself one. And it's starting to get a little cold at night, so you got to worry about somebody that's living on the roof of a car dealership.
So you have a throwback that you're going to play from a television or a radio guy. This Evans admitted that he got the idea from a guy that did it back in the day in the 1980s. He lived on a billboard when the Vols were starting. So he comes out in front of this and said, this wasn't my idea, but I'm going to get it restarted again. You said in the break, which I didn't know about, a guy was in the DJ booth for a little while, Phil Elson.
It's, radio stunts or something else. And one way to do it is by, remaining on the air until somebody finally wins. I had a friend of mine who used to do radio in Little Rock, who lives in Seattle now, Nathan Christian. Some of our listeners may remember Nathan. And back when the whole Dana Altman thing was going down after the firing of Stan Heath, hired Altman for like a day, and then, went a week before, I think, bringing on John Pelfrey. Nathan was so disgusted by the situation that he pledged, and actually did, live on an island in the Arkansas River until the Hogs hired a coach. Now, that's the Two Rivers Island. I don't know what the island's called, actually, but there's a bridge that takes you there now. Back then, there wasn't the Two Rivers Bridge, so he had to take a boat to go over there. He lived on the island with his dog for a week doing his radio show there until John Pelfrey was finally hired. And honestly, the way things went with Pelfrey, maybe Nathan would have, rather lived on the island for another 4 years.
I don't know how I didn't hear about that when I was in, because you said early 2000s, right?
That would have, yeah. When did the Altman thing go down? Was that 2002 or it was I think it was 04.
Well, no, because they hired Heath first, and then they went to the Altman Peltry.
I think it was 2004 that whole thing went down.
Okay,
but so all right. The one that I remember hearing about, and this is I'm at the age of 11. For those who remember, the 1988 Baltimore Orioles had the worst start in Major League Baseball history. They lost their first 21 games, fired manager Cal Ripken Sr. after the first 6, and yes, oh, by the way, his son Cal Ripken Jr. remained as the shortstop. Talk about awkwardness. Billy Ripken was on the team. I think he was the second baseman. Frank Robinson was then hired as the manager, a Baltimore legend and Hall of Famer at that point, but still couldn't get a victory until the very last week of April. So 11 losses into this streak. There's a morning show host in Baltimore whose name is Bob Rivers, and he's still on the air. He lives in the Pacific Northwest. So he's been in radio for, I think, like 40 years or so. But he remains known for staying on the air 24 hours a day until the Orioles ended the streak. And this, I mean, he started this deal at the 11th loss. They lost, I think they lost 10 more games after that. He got himself some recognition across the country, and I wanted to play this soundbite from the CBS News morning show that they had him on to talk about it.
The Twins win their second in a row. The Orioles are now 0-19.
Ow. So the Orioles are still sitting on a goose egg, and Bob Rivers is still on the air without a night's sleep since Tuesday of last week. And we join him now live at station WIYY FM, that's 98 Rock in Baltimore.
Ow for April.
How's the sense of humor holding up, sir?
It's holding up a little bit. I was a better interview last week. Where were you guys?
How many days, how many hours, how many minutes? Do you know?
Right now we're at 195 hours in this thing, and really ready to go home.
You know what I like, Bob? Your eyes are beginning to match the red on the Baltimore Orioles uniforms there. Sure. You're looking great there, big guy.
You know, at that point, he could have told him, he said, that's called orange, my man, not red.
We are able to accomplish something positive with this, and that's the one thing that's keeping me going here. The game for May 2nd, fantastic fan night when the O's return. I believe at this point we've sold almost 30,000 tickets. 52,000 would be a sellout at Memorial Stadium, and that's what we're going for.
What is he talking about?
He's talking about
a man who is completely delirious. What went through your mind last night when the Orioles lost again?
Well, having moved recently from Boston, what went through my mind was Game 6 of the World Series.
Do you think they will ever win again?
Yes, they'll win tonight.
Nope, they didn't win that night. They continued the losing streak. They lost a couple more games. And the day that he's talking about, that Baltimore Orioles Fan Appreciation Day, where he was promoting it to the point where they got, at that point, like 30,000, over 52,000 fans showed up to watch a 1-22 team. That's shocking. So, I mean, what would you do, Ty? What would you do until Arkansas finally wins a conference game? Because honestly, if we were to go the route of until Arkansas finally wins a conference game, we'll stay on the air. You and I won't move for a long, long time. There's a TV host here in Little Rock right now, Aaron Nolan, that won't shave until Arkansas wins a conference game, and he's getting a little bit hairier than I think most TV morning hosts are.
So. Back to the DJ dude that was 258. Was that the hours?
258 consecutive hours of radio. The guy, like, he snuck in like 3-minute naps while songs were playing. His friends would come in and try to get him to play 11-minute songs so that he could get a 10-minute nap. I mean, it just sounds like the kind of thing that would drive you crazy.
Oh, my gosh.
And amazingly, the guy's still alive.
Yeah, I don't know how you would make it through that. But the question I have is, he sounded rather coherent. 190 hours plus doing that. Like, it was weird.
There might be some chemicals that help you stay awake at that point. It was the 1980s, so
it was legalized then, right?
No, I don't know if I'd say it was legalized, but there was a drug of choice in the 1980s that I think some radio personalities would have been into.
Generational gap
that can keep you awake and keep you aware, and also keep you scratching your nose in a very paranoid way.
Okay. All right. Yeah, ski the slopes. We know all about that.
Exactly.
To a certain extent. And
I'm not saying that's what he was doing, but if you're on the air for like 150 straight hours at that point and you sound as good as he did, something had to been going on.
And I told you before I came out on the record that I have never skied the slopes before because I am an upstanding citizen, Phil. And it's against my contract, my moral compass, and a slew of other different things. I think I mentioned this. You asked the question, Phil, about where would I stake out? Where would you stake out before Arkansas finally won? Are we centralizing it to conference games, or are we doing just the rest of the way?
Well, I mean, do you want to take a real risk and go the conference route, or do you want to give yourself an out and say a win because you still have Western Kentucky on the schedule in 6 weeks?
I mean, I can't do my job unless I'm literally at the radio station, so I guess I just have to camp out here and just stay here and have people bring me
So how does that change what life is like for you now?
That's a great question. Where would you camp out? Like, you can do the show from anywhere. Where would you go and stay and stage out for a little bit? Would you stay in LR? Would you go
I guess I'd have to head to Fayetteville, and I would rely upon you to do certain segments so that I could go back and forth between Bud Walton Arena and Baum-Walker Stadium. And, I got to travel with the teams at some point. This whole thing starts in a month once basketball season starts. Why don't you just get this all out of the way, get that elusive conference win Saturday against Kentucky? Although you remember the numbers I looked at yesterday that I brought up in our final segments, I'm not too sure about a real good shot at a win on the road at UK. But just get it, just end it now so that Aaron can shave, so that you and I don't have to worry about staying on the air for a year straight or shaving our heads or living on a billboard or doing any sort of crazy radio stunt that nobody in Tuscaloosa, that nobody in Gainesville, that nobody in Baton Rouge has ever thought of trying to do.
Bruce in Fort Smith texted in on the Cherokee Casino hotline. He says Reaper squeezins after every conference loss.
Yeah, do I get a new stomach after every conference loss too, Bruce? Because I think I'd need one.
By the way, Matty T has a seasoning here, Phil, that we could possibly put on the wings to be a dry rub instead of just a sauce one. But he said if you put it on your tongue even a little bit, it'll make you cry, the slightest bit.
Sounds good. Can we get a Kleenex sponsorship? Do you think we can work with that, or do we have to stick with ice cold Coors Light?
Or a Malk scholarship or something. Something about that. But hey, yeah, you mentioned the Coors Light. What goes great with wings, Phil? Ice cold Coors Light. I mean, it is the best beer. It
goes great with pizza too, by the way. But don't ask you about that.
I'll drink it with pizza because it's Coors Light. Not another beer, but I'll drink Coors Light with pizza. I mean, it's always cold, it's refreshing. It is the weekend, basically. It's Thursday, so head over to your favorite bar after work or go to your favorite gas station, wherever you get your beer, and pick up a nice rack of ice-cold Coors Light. Cold package, cold lager, cold filter, cold everything. The mountains are cold, and you know what that means, Phil. When the mountains are blue, what do?
You go for two.
You go for two every single time. Coors Light, made to chill.
All right, that's what we got for you here in that segment. We'll come back with more. You want to call us up, 877-377-6963. Get you on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Shooters shoot. You're listening to Halftime.
Do you love crab legs? Then get to the Catfish Kitchen in Van Buren every Tuesday and Saturday night for all-you-can-eat crab legs. Eat all the meaty, delicious crab legs you can hold, plus all the fixin', coleslaw, beans, and the best hush puppies. Plus your drink, dessert, and ice cream are all included. It's only $44.95. That's all-you-can-eat crab legs every Tuesday and Saturday night from 4 till 8 at the Catfish Kitchen, 727 Fayetteville Road at the top of Logtown Hill, across from the police station in Van Buren.
Your voice lets him know he's safe. Shelter Insurance does the same for you. Roadside assistance provided by Road America is now included with your auto policy. We'll take care of you. Thank you. While you take care of what's most important. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Call me, Wade Gilkey, in Fort Smith.
Or call me, Jim Malum, in Charleston.
We did it again. Evans Body Shop has been voted the best independent collision repair shop in the River Valley for the second year in a row. None of it would have been possible without our top-notch crew and our customers, friends, and family that take their time to vote for us. We would like to say thank you. We are humbled by the continued loyalty and support from our community and staff and will continue to go above and beyond every day. Evans Body Shop, 412 Gordon Avenue, Van Buren. Come by today and see why we say
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Want to do something scary? Really scary? It's Magic Screams at Magic Springs,
the scare capital of Arkansas.
3 haunted attractions, including the new Carnival number 9 in 3D.
Ride wicked thrill rides in the dark.
Plus, fun for kids means family fun by day, fright by night. September 28th through November 3rd. Park opens at noon. Magic Screams at Magic Springs, the scare capital of Arkansas. Buy discount tickets online for big savings.
Thank goodness that the fall season is upon us. And with this special time of year comes football, cooler weather, changing leaves, and free internet and phone service from Pinnacle Telecom. That's right. Switch your phone and internet service over to Pinnacle Telecom and get your first month free. Take advantage of Pinnacle Telecom's fast fiber internet and or hosted telephone service, and your first month's bill is on us. So let Pinnacle Telecom make your fall even better with this one-of-a-kind first month free promotion. Pinnacle Telecom, tomorrow's technology today.
60 is not that old, but when you're talking about a business, 60 proves you have the ability to keep your customers happy and change with the times. Guardtronic is celebrating their 60th year in business. Founded in 1959, Guardtronic has been securing homes all over the area for 60 years. Give them a call anytime. There's always someone there to get a free quote for securing your home. 785-2323 or guardtronic.com. Happy birthday, Guardtronic. License E050.
Halftime is brought to you by 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Upgrade your evening on the Avenue. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
At the end of the day, it's on the road in the SEC with a backup quarterback, and this running game with Darren McFadden is the real deal. The Hogs take it to Tennessee. I like Arkansas.
And I kind of feel like today's show, Ty, should be brought to you by one of our listeners. Our friend Scott texting in on the Cherokee Casino hotline with a photo of his kegerator right there at the house. And he's got ice cold Coors Light on tap for you, my man.
It's a beautiful thing.
I know where you should be heading after the show, or at least to watch Saturday's game. Why not?
We need to know where Scott lives so we can have a halftime post.
You sure you want to do that, Scott? Because I have a feeling Ty's going to be knocking at your door as soon as he possibly can. So be careful if you let us know where you live.
He just told us his name. He did not tell us his location, so I think he still wants to get on the halftime conversation, but he doesn't want us rummaging through his kegerator, Phil, and tearing up his supply down there. Wherever
I feel like you are Gus Johnson yelling at the guy who had barbecue and didn't invite him. You know, that's what you are right now.
Well, I'm trying to find the clip. There it is.
You didn't invite me.
You had barbecue and you didn't invite me.
You got barbecue back there and you didn't invite me.
I love
you
that
got
clip.
a Coors Light kegerator and you won't invite me?
Come on, Scott. We need to do halftime. Hey, let's go and put this out there. Cards on the table. We are always down to drink with our listeners. Every occasion, right, Phil?
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, the only problem is we can't do it during the show.
Exactly right.
We need to have a nighttime show.
Stone cold sober during. Well, no, the best part about the show is, Phil, and I know my hours are going to change, so I'm going to be here till 6 nowadays, but the best part about the show is you're done by 2. You can do whatever you want after that. You're legally obligated. Like, we're contractually obligated to not get drunk during the show, which I'm forever thankful for because I would never dream of doing that, and I'm stone cold sober every single time I do this program, but you're good after the show, man. As of next week, I'll have to work till 6, and I'll be free and clear, but...
So I'll tell you where I want to go, because
Okay.
I found a perfect place for an angry sports fan to go. Forget about being on the air for 258 straight hours. Forget about living on a billboard or on the roof of a car dealer. You want to go to a Philadelphia Flyers game at the Wells Fargo Center, which had a $265 million renovation that opened. It opened this past Tuesday, as the NHL season began. So get a load of what they have opened in this hockey facility. And by the way, the Flyers share this arena with the Sixers, but the Rage Room is only available for Flyers games. The Rage Room, and this is from an AP story, says that Flyers fans are allowed to, quote, let off some steam and go crazy in a secret room nestled in the upper level for fans in the $25 standing room only sections. And inside this building, they are allowed to do slap shots. They're allowed to take sledgehammers and basically just destroy things in this room. So, I mean, you're allowed to take your anger from your team out on objects inside a controlled environment. They are literally giving fans who are known for throwing batteries and snowballs with batteries inside of them and booing and cheering for Michael Irvin when he got injured, and a lot of other things that Philadelphia fans are known for.
Yeah.
They are giving them a place to let their rage out so that it doesn't happen in a fully public setting.
So when you were a kid back in the day, did your dad ever give you a place to take your anger out on anything? Like, I didn't do this, but I had some friends who had severe anger problems growing up, where their fathers would give them a baseball bat and allow them to go hit a tree in the backyard or do something specifically, because sometimes it helps to alleviate the anger a little bit. Did you have something like that at your disposal back in the day?
I think I treated my room like that every once in a while. I'd pick up the blankets, pick up the pillows, throw them around a little bit, drop a couple of F-bombs at the age of 11, and call it a day. Get all the aggression out at that point, because there wasn't any other room in the house to do it.
Let me tell you something. I was one of the most sheltered kids in my high school, obviously, like private Christian high school and whatever. And I don't know if I knew all the swear words until I was in like high school. And you're mentioning you were dropping the F-bomb when you were 11. I think I said my first cuss word when I was 11. I think we had a little different child upbringings growing up, Phil. You were tough. What's Pittsburgh? Steel Town? Is that what you told me?
It is.
It's a tough town. I'm not saying Little Rock isn't, but I think my upbringing was a little different than yours when it comes to our relation to certain words.
Let's put it this way. I was watching George Carlin comedy specials at the age of 8. I don't know. You probably don't even know who George Carlin is, but I feel like we'll get to that at some point on Halftime Homework. He's one of my idols, and pretty much was known for being the smartest swearing comedian of his time. And, he coined the phrase of the 7 words you can't say on television or radio, by the way. So I'm not going to go through those, even though I memorized those words at the age of 8 as well. So, yeah, 8. I think we are partially a product of our environment, meaning the environment inside the 4 walls you live.
And I love my father. My dad's the greatest man I've ever known, but we did get at it a little bit growing up because it felt like that I was so toned down. I was a good kid. I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, I didn't do drugs, I didn't do anything in high school. Now, after, it's a different story.
No, I wasn't like that at games, by the way. I mean, I went to plenty of Pirates, Penguins, Steelers games with my parents or just my father where I never dropped the F-bomb. I didn't heckle the refs. I didn't heckle play. It was just inside the house.
You weren't like those daily videos that you see of young Philadelphia Eagles fans, whether it's dumping on popcorn on opposing fans or screaming cuss words and they're like 6 and 7. It's like unbelievable. You weren't like that. Just inside the confines of your own home is what you're saying.
Pretty much, Okay. And last night, by the way, Mike Schilt, Cardinals manager, inside the 4 walls of his clubhouse at SunTrust Park, unleashed a speech to his team that was laden with F-bombs. I mean, left, right, front, center, back, up, and down. And that is not what you expect from mild-mannered Mike Schilt. I remember he used to manage in the Texas League. He was Springfield's Double-A manager for at least 3 seasons while I was working at the Travelers, and he was as mild-mannered as it got. Friendly, even dull to the point of it being painful. But to see, obviously fired up after they win a division series and go on to the NLCS. It was shocking to see these things coming from Schilt.
Yeah, that speech was wild. Who was the player that put it up? Do you remember?
It was some rookie. I don't remember who it was.
He's going to get a little talking to after that.
Isn't he? Do you remember what happened with the Steelers in the playoffs a couple of years ago? And Antonio Brown posted on his, I think it was his Instagram, the full post-game speech from Mike Tomlin, including all of the nasty words. And that's really, for me, that's really where the relationship started to
fractured.
sour. Absolutely. It started with that. You don't let things that go, the things that happen in the clubhouse stay in the clubhouse, even if there are other cameras in there. Those people with those cameras, it's upon them then to bleep out the F-bombs, but for a rookie to put that out, I guess he'd be lucky if he plays at all for the rest of this playoff.
Doug in Mountain Home texted in on the Cherokee Casino hotline. He's headed to the Cardinals game tomorrow night. Luckily that the Cardinals won and that obviously the Nats won. They're the higher seed, so they get home field advantage for all our Cardinal fans listening. He's hoping the rain holds off, and he just asked us about Shilt's speech, which you referred. Rick in Cove says, Phil, you're a badass, LOL. Robbie is asking about your ceiling fan in the background that's going. I guess.
Yeah, am I supposed to turn the ceiling fan off before we do this video cast?
I don't want you to be hot, so you keep it how you want to. So those are a couple of what is Doug saying? Rosarina.
That's the rookie's name for St. Louis.
Okay. Yeah. I remember it being a youngster. I couldn't remember if it was a rookie or not. But yeah, I feel like, you know this more, 90. You've been more locker rooms than I have. Isn't that kind of sacred? Like within the locker room, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, whatever sport, there are certain phrases in speech, and you don't want to give the team bulletin board material. How many times are the Nationals coaches, managers, players going to be watching that video of Schilt saying we're going to beat the bleep out of whoever we play? That's all you need as a professional baseball player, and just the appetite to win a World Series. That's why you want to keep that stuff tight. You want to keep it in-house, like the Pats and the Spurs and the great franchises of whatever league you're looking to. That stuff stays in. And even the Cardinals, that's a great franchise. It's uncharacteristic, really, for the St. Louis organization.
I think it's pretty impossible, though, to control what the athletes are doing with their phones inside the locker room. You know, the Cardinals put out their own videos of the post-game celebration. A lot of teams do that, but it's almost impossible to police what the other athletes are putting out there. That's why the players themselves have to police what's good and what's not inside that locker room setting. And usually you know what's good and what's not in a locker room setting if you're a professional athlete. It just, I guess, in some cases it doesn't always present itself in that way. All right, we got one more segment coming up. Ty assigned me a really good halftime homework assignment. It was Friday Night Lights, the TV show. I watched the pilot. I had Ty watch the movie Airplane. So we'll get to that, our halftime homework assignments as well. So stick around as we close up shop with a cherry on the top here on Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson. Follow them on Twitter at Phil Elson PXP and at Ty Sports Radio.
Did someone say, I'm hungry? Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Try the new panini sandwiches like the chicken pyro or the Cubana or the signature 906 wings. Jumbo wings roasted with honey bacon jam. Want some spice? Try the black and blue wings. Experience their salads, flatbreads, coffees and desserts, top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Treat your appetite on the Avenue.
Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative is excited to introduce Wave Rural Connect. They're bringing state-of-the-art high-speed fiber internet plus TV and phone services right into the homes of all members. If you're an Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative member, go to waveruralconnect.com to sign up. That's waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-4WAVE-RC. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
Make-A-Wake Boat Sales and Service is not only where you can get your next Yamaha or Skeeter boat, they also carry a huge selection of bait and tackle. Find whatever floats your boat at Make-A-Wake Bait and Tackle. They carry tons of top brand lines of rods and reels and everything you need to gear up your tackle box, from Strike King, Kitech, and Zoom to Sunline and War Eagle products. Make finding your next Yamaha or Skeeter boat an easy catch with Make-A-Wake Boat Sales and Service in Van Buren, 4806 Alma Highway in Van Buren, and MakeAwakeBoats.com.
I'm Lisa Hinton, owner of Champ Hinton Enterprises. For nearly 50 years, the Champ Hinton name has stood for one thing: selling quality cars in a different way, taking the mumbo jumbo out of the process and making customers happy. All these years and tens of thousands of cars later, we're still here, doing business the way Champ Hinton taught us, selling to generations of families who've become part of our family. Champ Hinton Enterprises, the area's premier used car dealer. Take the Arcoma exit off I-540 or go online at champhinton.com.
Looking to upgrade your fleet or needing professional service to your existing fleet? Carco International of Fort Smith offers the latest trucks and equipment in the industry. With over 70 years in the trucking and equipment business, they have the experience to keep you on the road. Carco International offers professional service after the sale. Carco International Parts Department supplies all makes, parts, and gives expert service. Carco International is the answer. Leave it to the pros to keep you on the road. Carco International, located at 2721 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith.
Look your best with Perfecto Cleaners at the bottom of Fiena Hills. Count on same-day service, easy drive-through cover drop-off and pickup window, and fast turnaround on alterations. Perfecto Cleaners always goes the extra mile to ensure your clothes look their best, making you look your best. Be sure to clip their coupons in the yellow pages, and as always, in by 9 and out by 5 Monday through Friday. Perfecto Cleaners, just off Jenny Lind at the bottom of Fiena Hills. Perfecto Cleaners, making you look your best.
ESPN 95.3.
Touchdown! Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
As if.
I don't trust this kid any further than I could throw him.
I got a question. Does Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
Get out of my class.
Out! Get out!
I was still thinking of going back to school. It's just a movie from the 80s.
I am dangerous.
It's time for halftime homework, presented by Breeden RV and Power Sports.
Wait a minute. I know you. You're Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You play basketball for the Los Angeles Lakers.
I'm sorry, son, but you must have me confused with someone else. My name is Roger Murdoch. I'm the co-pilot.
You are Kareem. I've seen you play. My dad's got season tickets.
I think you should go back to your seat now, Joey. Right, Clarence?
Oh, he's not bothering anyone. Let him stay here.
All right, but just remember, my name is Roger Murdoch. I'm an airline pilot.
I think you're the greatest, but my dad says you don't work hard enough on defense. And he says that lots of times you don't even run down court. And that you don't really try, except during the playoffs.
The hell I don't. Listen, kid. I've been hearing that crap ever since I was at UCLA. I'm out there busting my buns every night. Tell your old man to drag Walton and Lanier up and down the court for 48 minutes.
It was almost impossible, Ty, to pick, one soundbite to play from Airplane, the movie that I assigned you.
Yeah.
And I know I assigned to this movie because I felt like it was good to put Airplane on the heels of The Naked Gun, where you have Leslie Nielsen starring as Frank Drebin. Nielsen was a serious actor. I mean, a serious actor without a comic bone in his body until the Zucker brothers put him in the role of the doctor in Airplane, where his famous line is, "Of course I'm serious, and don't call me Shirley." So, but I knew there was a sports angle to it, and there's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as one of the co-pilots on the Airplane, and I thought you'd appreciate that, being the basketball fan that you are.
Oh, I loved it, man, and it was just funny because then he started making references to it. Like, is he going to reveal himself? And then he goes along to do that, and I love you would have a tough time, too, if you were dragging Bill Walton and Bill Laimbeer down the court.
No, it was Lanier. It's Lanier.
Bob Lanier. Okay.
Bob Lanier, right.
My mistake in missing that. But there was some great clips during that. The Staying Alive was pretty funny, where that when the two, and you said Julie Haggerty and
Robert Hayes.
The two love interest in the movie when they start dancing. That's an iconic song. Might have to get that on the rejoins here on halftime. There was, I'm trying to think, the swell. I love how a couple times during the movie they used the word swell. I used that when I was a little younger, but I haven't in a while. There was a reading section. I'm not going to go into what that reading section was, but they had it labeled of what it was at one point, which I thought was pretty funny. And then
you had the nun sitting next to the boy on the airplane.
Yeah.
He's reading boy's life. She's reading nun's life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just gag after gag after gag, and it's a kind of movie that I don't know if these sort of movies get made anymore. Slapstick comedy, like some of the stuff you saw from like Mel Brooks and Spaceballs or the airplane movies or Naked Gun, in that case. There were a rash of those sort of movies, and it all started with the Kentucky Fried movie made by the same folks who made Airplane. But Airplane, when it hit in 1980, it was a huge success, a cultural touchstone of the 80s, and one of those movies that you can watch it from any point to the end because it really is just that entertaining. I'm glad you watched it. Do you think that kind of movie can be made now?
No, it would get eviscerated by critics today, unfortunately. And you know what? I don't know if it would do well at all, like regardless if critics thought of it, because there's some movies that critics love and the audience hates, and vice versa. Critics hate, audiences love, but I just don't think that type of comedy holds up. It has to be a milestone or a throwback. That's why I like it, because I like throwback stuff. But no, I don't think it could hold up today. Phil, was there anything that we missed? Is there a clip? Is there a scene? And I know there's a lot of them, but we're kind of need to tidy this up. Is there something that we missed that we need to touch on before on the airplane at all?
From Airplane, I don't think so. I mean, I love I got a drinking problem thing where his drinking problem is that he always misses his mouth with the liquid. Really, it's an hour and 40 minutes of just straight up gag after gag after gag. Yeah. So you had me watch Friday Night Lights, the pilot episode, and I've seen the movie with Billy Bob Thornton. I've read the book by Buzz Bissinger when it came out. That also was, one of the biggest sports books of the 90s, and that would be one that you probably would need to read.
What's you have me, and I have Ball 4. Is it similar to like iconic type of sports books?
It's in the same thread of Ball 4, but it's not the athlete writing about himself and the team around him. It's a writer in Bissinger who is allowed to document what an entire season is like at Permian High School in Odessa, Texas. And I know the book really spurned the movie spurned the show, and it all goes back to Friday Night Lights, the book, which is you're going to need to read that. I love the pilot episode. It's very entertaining. I think it's going to keep me watching, honestly, because you can see the pressure put on these kids from the very start by their family members, by the small town as a whole. Dillon, Texas, I think it's a smaller town, I think, than what Odessa is, where the movie and the book take place. But it I think it's going to hit on very much the same kind of themes that I remember from that book of an undue amount of pressure put on teenagers. Based upon the fact that life revolves around Friday nights in a lot of these not just in Texas, in Arkansas too, and in a lot of other spots across the country. Friday nights are the big nights. That's where the community comes together. That's where they all have the same thing to root for, and it kind of defines the town.
Just got a great text from Clay Henry. He texted into me and Phil. Hogs Illustrated sponsored the premiere of Friday Night Lights. He says Buzz came to Fayetteville. I didn't know that. Yeah, that might be something you need to talk to him about.
No kidding. It really is an amazing book.
Yeah,
you're gonna need to read that book. I don't want to assign it to you because books take a little bit longer than a week, I think, for most of us. But when you do open it up, you will not be able to put it down.
So, for those who have seen Varsity Blues, I think that Varsity Blues is a better it is more not explains, but it's more similar to the show than Friday Night Lights is to that. There's a ton of similarities in Varsity Blues and the movie Friday Night Lights has some similarities to the TV show, but there's more similarities, I think, in Varsity Blues to Friday Night Lights, the TV show, than that. I mean, that was a TV show that was heavily watched. It was on NBC. People loved it, and it's one of the shows that I watched it. I'll say this: I didn't finish it. I got tired at the very end. I just couldn't finish it. I can't remember how many seasons there are, but It launched Taylor Kish's career, who's Tib Riggins in the show, Lila Garrity, who at one point was dating Derek Jeter, and she's had a really good actress career. I mean, there's a couple in Landry. I can't think of Landry's actual name, but there's a couple actors and actresses that started out in that, and it really launched their careers. But I'm glad you liked it, man.
Wasn't there also something where like NBC canceled the series, but the fans of the series rose up to a point where NBC like contracted with somebody else to produce the series and would run it later after it originally aired? I remember this coming out like 9 years ago.
Here's my thing. I didn't watch it live, and I wasn't watching it at the time, so I missed all of that. I think I watched it late in high school. I lose track of the series I watched, but I think I watched it late in high school. But that could be the case. I just don't remember, to be honest, buddy.
All right, so what do you want to assign me for this next week? What do we got?
So this is a very millennial-type show.
Great. I'm trying to learn about these millennials.
You had me watch Blue Chips a couple months back, and I wasn't the biggest fan. I did like how Penny Hardaway, Shaquille O'Neal, and I don't remember the other guy that was in it, but this is the show that is defining millennial generation football. It's called Blue Mountain State. It's a very raunchy, very aggressive type show, but I want you to watch the episode called Legend of Golden Arm, where this all-state, all-conference, all-American quarterback comes in, and he gets the whole recruiting treatment. Now, you're either going to like this show and cackle to it, or you're going to absolutely hate it. I haven't decided. I haven't figured that out yet, but you, again, have to watch Golden Arm, the Legend of Golden Arm episode of Blue Mountain State. It's on Netflix, Phil, so it'll be easy for you to find, but that is my assignment. The Friday Night Lights is authentic. It might be a good illustration of what college recruiting and college football is actually like, but it doesn't feel that way at the same time. It's kind of hard to describe.
Okay, well, here's something that's not authentic, and it is your halftime homework episode for next week. You've never heard of Milli Vanilli, have you?
I don't think so.
Okay, good.
Generational gap.
Milli Vanilli was one of the top acts of musical acts of 1989. A couple of black guys who were from Germany. That's why I didn't call them African Americans. And they were good looking, and they could dance and move, and everybody thought that they could sing. This is Baby Don't Forget My Number, one of their like 3 or 4 hits from their debut album. They won Grammys. They were on SNL. These guys were it. But the story does not go the way that you think it would go. So I need you to listen to a little Milli Vanilli.
Milli Vanilli.
Choose like 2 or 3 of their songs and read up on them and tell me what happened and why. I started that by saying they weren't very authentic.
Okay. All right. I'll do that.
You have no idea what you're getting into with this story, by the way. It's craziness.
That's the best part, is when it's something's unexpected and you're just going to get hit with it, basically.
That's right. Halftime homework brought to you by Breeden RV in Van Buren. Clearance sale right now. New RVs, travel trailers starting at $99.95, fifth wheels starting under $30,000, and of course, new customers get maintenance for life for free at Breeden RV in Van Buren. That's your halftime for a Thursday. Join us tomorrow as we preview Arkansas, Kentucky. For Ty, I'm Phil. Get up, get out, and get better.